Okay, the next thing is to check and see if we can multiply the grunge map, the rust and the scratches and all that stuff over top of the no parking sign and the stop sign. So we're going to work with those two first. So what I'll probably end up doing is turning off the ones that I'm not going to use right now. Those two. Alright, so on these two, I'm going to go ahead and use multiply. And you can kind of go through those. There's darken, multiply. That looks kind of cool because it actually makes the stop sign look like it's faded. Multiply just multiplies the white out so you don't see the white part. And you can kind of go through the rest of them, see which one you like the best, but I think multiply is probably what we're gonna actually use. That looks the best. Okay, so we're gonna use multiply, and then on the stop sign grunge, we're gonna use multiply as well. So those two look pretty good. We can tweak those out again by the opacity. If we want to turn the opacity level down a little bit, we can. So sometimes between 90 and 100% you're good. So if you don't like it so strong, we can change that. You can also go 100% and then change the levels if you want to, so you can do some adjustments there as well. You can make some adjustments that way too as well. Sometimes I like doing that instead of doing the transparency or opacity level. So you can just kind of make adjustments there if you need to. You can look at and see what the differences are. Okay, I can do that later, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I'll turn that off and just move on. Okay, so now we've got those two. So those two are good. And I'm going to turn those two off. And then we've got, let's focus on these other two. So we got this one. And this really won't work doing a multiply. So when I do that, it just kind of takes over. You really can't tell. Because the white and the gray are almost the same. So basically that doesn't really work that well. Sometimes multiply doesn't work. So what you can do for these, let's go ahead and turn everything off. Okay. So we just have this layer. Let's go ahead and turn the multiply back to normal. On this type of occasion, I usually go to a selection mode and color range. Turn this to highlights and select the white in here. And I usually kind of like to see some grungy. Don't want it too dark, too light. So around 190 or so and 70% fuzziness. Go ahead and click OK. And what I'm going to do now is use the eraser tool at about 500, 100% opacity, and just kind of paint that away. So we get pure rust in here. There we go. That looks good. Alright, gonna go to select, deselect. So I'm gonna turn that back on again. And I kinda like that because that kinda shows through the back. That looks good, I like that. Alright, so we'll do that for the other one too as well. So I'll turn that one off and this one off. And there's the next one. So we'll do the same thing with this one here. Just go to, since I already have it selected, everything's set up right, Let's just do this quickly. And we got one more to do, and that would be the pole. So I'm just going to kind of lighten that up a little bit more. Just go over that a couple times. There we go. Alright. Okay, so we'll turn that back on there. So we got... Alright, so that looks pretty good. Alright. So... Alright. Last one is the pole. Now that doesn't look good at all if we were to multiply. It's way too dark and we don't see the rust. So again, multiply doesn't work on everything. You just have to check it. So we'll turn everything off except for this part right here. Turn the multiply to normal, and we will do the same thing. We'll do color range, select it, and paint it out. And this will turn out pretty nice, I think. Alright. So we're going to keep this as normal, and let's turn that on so you can see the differences. That looks really nice. You can see the colors in there, and that looks pretty good. I need to paint that. I didn't do so well, but you know, I can go back in there and change that. Let's go ahead and check everything out and see what we have for finished job. That looks pretty good. Very happy with that. So there's a couple other things you could do if you want to add you know, kind of if you had some cement or something like that. This doesn't look right, so we're not going to use it. There's also this dust or splatter that you can use as mud splatter on the sign if you want to. Or we can go in here and change the scale of this. Let's see. Here we go. And that's kind of like a splatter. And there we go. And just use whatever you want. You can, and we'll just do a multiply on that. You can see there's just like dirt or splatter on there. And so it's hard to see, but these things are subtle, right? And so you can do it on the whole thing if you want to, or just do certain spots, whatever you'd like to do. I'm not gonna really use that, so I'll go ahead and turn that off. Okay. If you do mud or splatter, you probably want to make that a little bit more noticeable. So there are things you can do with adjustments. You can do color balance, make that more brown. Levels, make it a little bit darker. You know, make it look like paint or dirt or whatever you want. So whatever you'd like to do. This is part of adding grunge. That looks more like tar splattered on there. So that looks pretty cool, like that. Let's go ahead and you can always turn that layer off and on to see what it looks like. Okay. Right, when you're finished, you can go ahead and save that. And I would save the PSD. So I'm going to save this as 3. And we're also going to save this as a color map when this gets done saving. Alright, that looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and go to layer and flatten the image. Yes. And then we're going to go to file, save as, and we're going to do a Targa. And stop parking UV color map. We'll put in, that is the color map. We'll put color map finish FIN. There we go. And save that. Okay, 24 bits. Alright, that's it, and we'll apply this in Maya.